Oh, hey, there you are. Hey, welcome back to Feel Good Firewood. I'm Scott. Today, we're going to do about a 1-year review on our brute force bundler. This is the model BF16. It's been a good bundler for us. About a year ago, we were approached to do bundles for a local gas station, and it was something we had thought about doing. We had just finished a big processing job, and we're able to take that revenue and basically put it into this, and that helped to offset some taxes for that year and also give us a good piece of equipment going forward for expansion. The brute force is a good one. We reached out to them. They had one available at the time. I also tried to get one from a company here in Minnesota that did not get back to me until much later. We had already bought the brute force by then, and yeah, that was just kind of a strange situation. Also, I think I had a quote from Go Fast, and then there was one other one from Wisconsin. I can't remember the name at the moment. I'd seen some reviews on this one. They were good. The Go Fast at that time didn't really have much out there. I think Joe over at Ohio Woodburner now has one. Looks like a great piece of equipment. Wouldn't be afraid to get that one either. So this is the one that we have though, so I'm going to kind of tell you what we like. And if there's anything I really don't like about it, again, for our purpose, it's great. We do bundles. We do 0.75 cubic foot is the size that we sell. The tray does have some notches in it, and I thought those would kind of correlate to the sizes, but at the 0.75 it did not. We put a little paint dot underneath there, but really if we just go to the top notch, or the bottom notch if you're kind of looking at it that way, that would be just a smidge over 0.75. So that's kind of where we shoot to make sure they're consistent. This does only come in to really do a 16-inch piece. We have thought about making some 14-inch wood, so that we might have to bag that if we go that route. Obviously the brute force has this fancy cutout in the back. Is it really necessary? No, it looks neat. I do think it would be a neat offering, like for our business logo, if we could have had that put in the background. I would have paid a little extra for that. That would have been pretty neat. But really overall, it's a good machine. It rolls around nice. It's got a good sturdy base. The wheels aren't off-road tires or anything, so I think you could upgrade them to a larger pneumatic or something if you did need to move it around a wood yard or lot. Ours, we usually do it in the garage here. We just bring the wood in here and make our bundles. The counterweight is right here. It's pretty good size, and that is kind of offset by the weight of your wrap. The wrap we use is 12-inch, and it's 90 gauge cast. The blown is the one that makes a lot of noise. The cast is very nice to work with. It's quiet. The mechanism for tightening it, it's a double bolt. It's got a spring on here. Unfortunately, I'm on a tripod, so I can't really show you that from the side. Maybe I can give you a spin here. So, I think maybe you can see that. So you've got your spring. I'll try to get that over a little bit more. So you've got your spring adjustment. It's got a plate that pushes on. Here it's threaded to about here, so you've got quite a bit of adjustment on there for your tension. And a lot of times I found it's a double nut system, but you can kind of move them both at the same time. It stays. Because as it does shrink down, you do need to tighten that up for a little bit, and then it seems like you have to loosen it up towards the end, otherwise it'll want to break off. What else? It's just driven by a V-belt, and then the motor back there. I think that was a Ballard motor. Which one was this? This was actually a a Dayton, so it's a good motor. I don't have my glasses. I believe it's either half or a third horse. Again, good machine that way. Should have probably gotten all the junk off the floor before doing this. But I'd been making some bundles and got a little dirty. The way this one works, runs off a foot pedal. Like a lot of them, you got your motor, plugs in to the foot pedal, which just basically acts as a switch. And then you just go ahead and plug that in and kind of make sure your foot's not on there, because that will come around and clock you in the head. But pretty quiet. Does make a little bit more noise when it's got tension underneath on it. The other thing that I just found the other day that works really nice, and so these are our labels that we use, and this holds the labels that we use, and I'll get back to that in just a second. But our labels they have our logo, a little ideal for fireplaces, campsites, cooking. 1.75 cubic inch. In Minnesota, we have to have the volume of what it is. We do not have to identify the species as long as you can clearly see what it is. And by using the wrap, you can clearly see it. If it was in bags, we'd have to identify the type of wood. We also have locally sourced, Itasca County, that's where we live. And those kind of fit the requirements, and then our address on the bottom. We also have a UPC code that's registered to us. And this was a little over, I want to say like 125, maybe a little bit more. And that was through Melissa Nagy that Joe at Ohio Woodburner recommends. She helped us design our logo as well. I'd highly recommend checking her out if you do need a logo or anything like that. All right, so back to the little holding device for the labels. The other day I was watching and came across Lily's Farm and Firewood, and he went ahead and he was talking about this holder. Now this holder it's a glove box holder from Harbor Freight. I happen to have one hanging on my toolbox just across the garage, and the labels fit absolutely perfect in there. So I had just laid them up here, and if the wind would catch them, they would fly off. And it's kind of a pain. But after seeing that recommendation for using one of these, just pops right on. Just take your label out. It's a great application. Maybe 10 bucks at the Harbor Freight there. Really, I don't have any complaints again with the machine. I would say I could probably wrap 30, 40 bundles an hour if I'm really into it. So it does take time. Bundles are a great product to sell. What I like about it is our profits go up greatly from it, the profit margin. We do have a lot more time into it because it takes time to wrap everything. So you still have your time, but your extra supplies. So for us, we buy our logs on a truck. They bring them in, we process them, and then we dry it and sell it. So if I sell a cord of wood, I have to replace a cord of wood, and that is expensive. I can almost double my money selling bundles, but I have a lot more time into it again. But I don't have the product cost. I have the label, and I've got a little bit of strec trap. So that really helps increase that margin through up to that doubling of your money, because you don't have to replace double the amount of product. And that delta just works out really good. It's also something I'd like to see my kids do more of someday. Just come home and there's a bunch of bundles made. That would be awesome. And really, if you do have somebody that you want to pay, it'd be a great thing to do. You could do it piecework, you quarter a bundle, whatever you want to pay. and they can make some good money, and it really doesn't get into your profits that much. I guess that's really all I have for this at this moment. I'll go ahead and I'll wrap a bundle for you so you can kind of see how it goes here and what we're looking at. Hopefully I didn't mess up the tension too much when I did that. And you do want to watch this, because when this thing comes around, that could hit your arm if you're up too high or something. I'll do 1 or 2 wraps, then throw the label in there and do 2 or 3 more. And then it just pops right out. So yeah, that's the Brute Force bundler, the FB16. I would buy another one if I needed to, but again, I wouldn't be afraid to look at any of the other ones out there either. I think they're probably all good, but that's the one that we have. So appreciate your time for watching. If you could hit that like and subscribe, it helps me out to know what content that you might find interesting and if we're on the right path. Again, we thank you and appreciate your time.